Welcome to Dance to Heal. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how dance and movement can bring healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that movement was vital to my recovery. I created Dance to Heal Wellness and also authored the best-selling book, Outside in Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new techniques to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Tai-Ryan White is a dynamic force in the world of dance. Creative director, producer, social activist, model, movement coach. Tai has worked for world-renowned artists such as John Legend, Beyonce, Kanye West, J-Hope and Becky G, Aluna and Kaytranada, and Wendy. Oh my gosh. Audience, you're in for such a treat. Tai is someone that I'm just so excited that I got to see you dance. I got to train with you behind the scenes. And now I get to introduce you to my audience. Hey, how are you doing today?
It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. I'm here. I'm excited. I get to see a beautiful individual and have some beautiful conversations. So yeah, I'm excited.
So your introduction talked about how you were more than a dancer. Before we talk about those parts of you, tell us how you found dance and what it's done for you in your personal life and also professional life.
Woo. Well, I would say that I guess I started off as a free-spirited toddler. And so because I had experience with my grandfather training people of different nationalities. They would come in. He taught English as a second language on the university level and a college level. And so we would used to have students, foreign exchange students, come stay at our house during the summer. So I would actually put on little shows for them. And so I think that's how everyone else around me knew I loved to dance and to perform. So from there, though, I definitely was quiet about it when I got older. I was quiet about it when I got older. I really honestly don't remember why that became a thing. But
Mm.
I will say that certain atmospheres did not allot for artistry to just be something that you were comfortable to do out in the open and around people, especially in the areas in which I lived. It was a sign of weakness, if anything else. So, to cover that, I can imagine me, putting up a facade in which that would just cause me to fade into the background. But uh, dance in itself, I like to say all the time that dance is the gift God gave me before introducing himself to me. I feel very strongly that if
Ooh.
I did not have dance, I wouldn't be here. I would not have been around long enough to even have that formal or loving introduction. And I wouldn't have met some of the amazing people I've met. I wouldn't have lived this amazing life, this life full of challenges and highs and lows and all the things. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it was not for dance.
You gave me chills when you said God spoke to you and saved you first before showing God to you. Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of that in the space of there's so much noise and there's been noise. There's been so much noise for the longest time, but I feel like now it's even more amplified and the mufflers are off for society. And there's so many things speaking. There's so many things calling to us, and some of those things are calling to us from the shadows, and beckoning us to come in and be lower versions of ourselves, and just all the things, and forget about the specialness that is us individually. Because yes, there are billions of people, who have walked on the earth and who are walking on the earth, right? But like, there's still only one you. There's no one else has the same size heart as you. No one else has your fingerprint. You know what I mean? There's something that is identifiably you. And I think that dealing with a lot of these things, we forget that. And that's one of the reasons why I think God gave me dance, because creativity in itself, to be able to be a creative individual, express that creativity in a way that you notice that you're different from someone else and it's appreciated in those spaces. It's a gift. It really is.
Oh, I love that. I mean, for me, I grew up, well, I immigrated to the States, Tay, when I was 6, and I felt so isolated and so alone in this country. And I understand what you mean about having to dampen down who you are to fit in where you are for safety. That's
Mhm.
huge. And I think a lot of people can resonate with that, irregardless of what you appear. Because you and I, we appear as a person of color. And in some settings, even if we're in the majority, we still have to blend in. It's really important, otherwise, outside of those certain neighborhoods, we are in the minority in this country. And so,
Absolutely.
you got to learn how to behave for safety. And at the same time, I knew whenever I would do dance, it would connect me to a higher power and it would kind of center us, right? And so you spoke a lot, and I want to make sure we get to this because this is one of the things why I felt it was really important for you to be seen right now. What is your current creative project that's on the roster?
Ah, my baby. Um, Shadows of the Mind is the title of my dance production. It is far more than a dance production. However, for the sake of placing it in a category, I will do just that. It is an ode to my life, to my journey, to my experiences through a lot of what I like to call shadows, right? Shadows of the mind. And these are situations, emotional states, uh, things that I've confronted throughout the course of my life, things that I've seen or partook in firsthand. Whether I was very, very young and just looking at this and trying to really analyze in my child brain what is happening right now. And to this day, it has affected me. It has imprinted on me things that are important to talk about, seeing things from behind the scenes, so to speak, right? Having access to the understanding of what it is like to feel entrapped by certain things and to, you know, tunnel out of those things. And I appreciate and come to understand why my journey was the way that it was and why I feel like God left breadcrumbs on the way to the light versus just taking me out and placing me there. Voila. The journey of tunneling through is a difficult one, and I don't think that we give enough credit to people who are tunneling through, especially those who start the journey to tunnel through. And sometimes that's all that it takes is once you are alerted to what their truth is, you can no longer believe a lie. So it's the space of like, how long do you choose to stay in these shadows? And I think that that's something that this show really pulls out of is the journey of starting, the journey of acknowledging fully what it is. Like, I don't want it to be a fairy tale. I don't want it to be the Disney princess is in trouble, the prince comes and saves, and then everyone lives happily ever after. I want it to feel like a visceral experience. And I want to really talk about the things that are really ailing people today, that have ailed me and that I've come through. And sometimes I know, especially growing up, I used to feel like my parents didn't know anything about what I went through. But it is a different iteration of what it is, but it is very much so from the same root of darkness. And I think that if we can create a pathway through art, right? An unspoken language of dance. So this way, it's not like I'm telling you what you have to think or what you have to believe, but I'm just showcasing it through art and prayerfully. And I believe very strongly that you'll find yourself in the story and you'll be able to walk the pathway prayerfully with the breadcrumbs that I feel have been left for me. I can display those breadcrumbs for others, and we can all walk into the light of love together, God's love together. And I really feel like that's really important, especially now in today's climate and everything. So.
Oh, yes. And certainly, the one of the alliterations of this production done back 10 years ago, right? You were getting audience reactions. I mean, tell us a little bit about that. You told me you had an international audience that.
I was so shocked because I actually have a few other friends of mine. As I started my classical journey in classical ballet, I started at an older age. I was 22 when I started dancing classical ballet. And so after I did this show, some of the parents from the academy that I was dancing at, they actually teach English as a second language. So they had some first year students living with them, and they came to see the show, and they're from China. They were not well versed in English as of yet, but all I saw was them crying. And they walked up to me after the show and they were just crying. And the only thing they could say is, thank you for the dance. And I was like, wow. I didn't really fully understand at that time what I had. I just knew that it was something that I felt like I received this download and I wanted to put it out. And I felt a fire behind me to put it out, which is that same fire that I feel now. Um, the potency of the fire never shifted throughout these 10 years. It's just like, how, what do I do? And I feel like, yeah, just seeing those audiences back in those times, like when it just first started and then growing with an audience, like I took the show through so many different iterations. I performed it in communities. So people were like, "Yeah, we want you to perform, this scene here, and this scene that talks about abuse. I want you to perform it here, and I wanted to perform this scene about the drug stuff here with the kids, and I would love this uplifting scene that you did at the end to perform." Like it was literally like, okay, okay, okay. I also worked with some of the students from the Pinellas County Center of the Arts at Gibbs High School, which is a theater program into so many different um, dance companies like Ailey and ABT and all the things. Like they would go from high school and they would go, some of them straight from high school into some of these pre-professional programs that they have listed, and some of them into colleges like for Ailey Fordham and SUNY Purchase and all those things in those places. But they would ask to use these scenes in their senior projects. So I performed them in, so it was like, it just blew my mind just being able to place this workout, how many people were touched and how many audiences were touched, from a scholastic audience to an international audience to community audiences. It was like the human experience, and they were able to pick from it and see themselves in that space. And that I think was the most rewarding to us. And it endured all the way through when I performed at the Pinellas Park Performing Arts Center in 2012. And then the last time this show has aired, it was at John Hopkins in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I sold out a show, 2 nights of the show. Because normally, so I only put it on once per year because I'm like, this is an experience. I just want you to experience, and that's it. So we had, a Saturday matinee, Saturday evening, and a Sunday matinee show. Those all sold out. And that was my first time, like completely like having to turn people away. I was like, oh no! So we got an order people were asked to see it, so we did an encore presentation of it later on in the year, because as you know, when you're booking theaters, sometimes you can't just be like, hey, I want to extend a couple of days. It doesn't work like that. So we had to get some more shows later on in the year, and I was able to sell those out as well. So, and people were literally, I think that I spent just as much time on stage as I did in the audience talking to people after the show who were just telling me their story and how they were affected. And so that's a very humbling feeling. I don't take that lightly. And yeah, when I think about it, and I'm thinking about it now and going back, I'm still kind of baffled. I'm like, wow, kind of
It, Tay, it's a project that's bigger than you. You're healing the world. You got the download. My voice is going because it's really, really like important for us all to hear this, right? You got a direct download. This is what the world needs, and you listened. And the answer response back was out of this world, like no, unexpected. And the fact that you're getting this download, it needs to come back. I mean, certainly in our times, this is 2024, Tay. We're I call it the Panini lockdown because there's so many disagreements about where we're at right now. So just to be lighthearted about a really important topic, we're post this global epidemic where the world needs another healing drastically, quickly, ASAPly.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are getting this call to put this production back on again this year in 2024. What is the best way for them to get in touch with you, Tay, to be a part of supporting you in this project?
Awesome. Yes. So yes, please. My Instagram, DMing me on Instagram is something that I really try to focus on, picking up those DMs and looking in there. Also on my YouTube as well. You can send a note for me there, and we can follow up as well. Uh, I'm also on LinkedIn. If you want to find me on LinkedIn as well, if you feel like you have something that you'd like to say or anything you feel would be a good idea, something you've been trying to do, I love to hear from everyone who's on this journey trying to bring light and love into the world. I think it's so important, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
Let's talk.
so audience members, if you're looking to help monetarily support Tay and his production, I would highly recommend that if I know people in my community and even audience members that can refer out, because in this world, there are people who are looking to support the arts. And this is one project you really, really want to put on your top of list. Tay, T-A-I, Ryan, R-Y-A-N. His last name is White, W-H-I-T-I-T-E. Okay, now here's the thing. On IG, it is just Tai-Ryan Official. All right. And then on the people watching this on YouTube, go even to this episode on the YouTube channel of Dance to Heal podcast and do a comment and let us know how much you want to help and donations or even contributions in another way. A theater type of situation for Tay, because our artists don't get any funding from the government. It's all private Kickstarters, private funding. And this is a project that is very, very dear to me. And I really want to help Tay get the word out. What are some closing thoughts that you have had? I mean, certainly we've talked about how dance and movement connects us to the divine. It is a very spiritual and actually very, very holy thing to move your body, because for me, it's almost as if our bodies are, we don't understand this enough. It's the personification of sacred, our bodies are. And so when we move and then vibrationally attach and can connect with God, the universe, source, right? It is really something that we all individually need to be doing. Now, on your perspective, what's the best way to start doing that? Because I do have audience members who are like, well, dance really isn't for me. Like, I'll go support Tay, but like, what's one suggestion you would want someone to try doing today to connect with the divine, with God, with the universe for them? What's one thing they could do today?
My grandmother would say, she's no longer with us, but she used to sing on the show too before, but she passed during COVID. She would say something all the time, and it's an old hymn, right? And it said, if I can't say a mumbling word, I'll just wave my hands and God will understand. And I think that the power in just acknowledgement with our body, it's an, if we had 5,000 characters, there's still not enough words we can create that would be able to express how we really feel sometimes in a situation. So just a simple movement, a simple gesture. You don't have to be doing backflips and splits and twirls and all the things. That's not important. That's the showmanship of it, you know. But as far as living in the authenticity of connection with God, sometimes all I just do is just raise my hand. And I feel like God understands.
I have a question, Tay. So, audience, I did not prepare Tay for this question. Do you sing?
I do actually. Well, I will say this. I do sing, and anyone who see me like, Tay, tell them that you sing, because you did. I
Uh-huh.
do sing. The relationship with me in song has been impeded upon. Again, I've hidden a lot of my talents
Mhm.
throughout growing up for safety reasons, and you would be like, how is that? It's a whole different world now. And it was when I was growing up. There's so much more that is accepted, which I'm so grateful for, in the space of like getting away from the spirits of shame and all those things. So I feel like that's something that needs to be abolished completely. Um, so, but yes, I do sing, and I'm looking to even work deeper with the gift of song so that I could express myself even more in those spaces.
So, will you sing something for us?
Oh,
Something,
goodness.
maybe something that your grandmother sang on your show or something. Let's just invoke her love and her lineage.
I'll tell you what, you will definitely hear my grandmother singing this song during the show because we captured the vocals from a previous show. Oh wow. We captured the vocals from a previous show and we're gonna allow that to play during the time where she normally would sing. Um she sings Wade in the Water. So I'll sing a little bit. I can sing a little bit of it. I'm gonna try to. Any mistakes, take it for love. But let me take a sip of water for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute myself because I'll probably start sobbing, and I don't want that as part of the recording.
I'm gonna not look at the screen if that's okay. Me, me, me. Wade in the water. Wade in the water. Children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who's that yonder, dressed in red? God's gonna trouble the water. Looks like the children that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. So wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. Yeah, I was sobbing, so yeah. Thank you, boo boo.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right, we're gonna have to have you come back because I'm just gonna go and cry for like 20 minutes. You know, crying is good, audience. You need to release it. I'm actually gonna also urge you to come back to this recording and move to how your body wants you to this exquisite gift by Tay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, audience, we'll see you later. Bye. Thanks for listening to Dance to Heal with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of recovery through movement and learn more ways that you can move your body. To work with me and continue your journey, visit outsideinrecovery.com. Are you ready to move?